Will, good morning. It's good to have you here today to talk about the new senior managers regime.
Thanks, David. I'm happy to be here.
This has just come into force. I wonder if you could just explain some of the key points about the new regime and its implications.
Yeah, okay. There are basically 3 points. The new concept of senior managers, which is people who really run banks, who implement strategy, such as the CEO, the CFO, and some of the control functions, the head of compliance, the money laundering reporting officer. All these people have to be approved by the FCA. That of itself isn't new. What is new is that they are responsible within their so-called area of responsibility for any breach that happens within that area. So what happened in the past was there would be a breach by a trader or a salesperson at a relatively low level. And the FCA couldn't enforce against the senior manager because there were several layers of management between him and the individual who committed the breach. That's now gone. So the senior manager is going to have to put in place proper systems of process, of management, and so on, because otherwise his job, his livelihood, and his ability to work in the industry are on the line.
And this is going to lead to a kind of a revolutionary change in accountability then within our member firms.
Revolutionary, radical, some similar adjective is correct. They've all got these management processes in place, but now it's really going to focus the mind, because no longer can you say, it wasn't me, it was him, because there will be a written down area of responsibility which shows that it was you.
Right, and are banks ready for this new world?
AFME members are certainly ready. We've been working with our members and with the regulators for, I would say, the best part of 2 years now. We've had a lot of meetings with regulators. Both regulators have been very helpful. We've managed to achieve quite a lot of changes in the original draft regulation, which don't water down the regulation, but they do make it easier to implement.
So are our members ready for this new regime then, Will?
AFME members are definitely ready. We've spent the best part of 2 years with them and with the regulators working together, trying to create a manageable process. The original law had its flaws. We've been ironing that out. There have been some changes, and what we now think is in place will work. But there are some areas that are work in progress. There are new rules on references, whereby you've got to give a completely full reference to anybody who asks about anybody who worked for you in the past. You can't just say he or she worked here for 3 years. You have to go into their history. There's new rules on algorithmic trading, there's new rules on wholesale trading, and there's new rules on whistleblowing. Those we're still working on. Everything else is in place.
But in summary, it's a very big change for the industry. It would be going too far to say the industry is kind of welcoming this, but it is something that is perceived to be a step forward towards greater accountability and risk mitigation.
The industry was quite concerned when the original proposals came out. But the biggest change that we've managed to put in place is the abandonment of the reversal of burden of proof. And as I think you'll remember, the original concept was that a senior manager was responsible unless he could show that he'd put in place all reasonable steps to prevent a breach. That's now been changed back by the government, so that it's up to the regulator to show that he didn't put in place all reasonable steps. Quite a big change. Yeah. Nevertheless, there's still a lot of risk for senior managers.
So in short, how does the industry feel about this new regime?
I think now it feels comfortable. When the proposals first came out 2 or 3 years ago, they were pretty draconian, and the industry really didn't know what to expect. There's been a lot of work done with the regulators and the industry and the politicians, and what we now have is a setup which we think will work. Of course, time will tell, and no doubt in a year's time maybe there'll be some more changes made. But right now we have a proposal which should produce a higher level of culture and conduct within the banking industry, which is what we're all after.
Thank you very much.